It is the third Sunday after Epiphany. And if we are honest, something has shifted since Christmas. The lights are down, the decorations are packed away. The days are still short. We are barely past the winter solstice. And here in Santa Cruz, January has its own kind of atmosphere. Gray mornings and the news cycle, it never pauses. Political tensions and global conflicts, the ongoing weight of a world that doesn't seem to and get lighter. And yet, you show up today in person, in Zoom, in Facebook. That matters. And yet, we are here. But I wonder if some of you came in and carrying a question you don't say out loud. How long do I have to keep carrying this? Last week we heard God's promise through Isaiah. I'll give you as a light to the nations. Beautiful word, inspiring word. We are meant to be light bearers. But there's a question people don't always ask after someone like that. What happens when your batteries run low? Some of you came this morning running on empty. Ministry fatigues, family stress, health concerns, the exertions of caring for aging parents, for struggling children, for friends who are hurting, for a community that feels stretched, for a world that feels divided. You are supposed to carry light, but the light feels heavy. So what if carrying light does not mean generating it? What if the call is not dig deeper, produce more, but turn toward the one who already is the light? That's where the Psalm 27 meets us. David knew what it meant to feel surrounded. He knew fear. He knew pressure. He knew what it was like to wonder, do I have enough strength for what's coming? And he discovered something. The light he needed was not something he manufactured. It was someone he sought. Here, these words, Psalm 27, verse 1, I read, "The Lord is my light, my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" So did you catch how personal that is? Not the Lord is a light, not the Lord is a light in general. David says, the Lord is my light. And like you to say, my home, my Father, my safe place. This is not doctrine held at a distance. This is a relationship held close. And David is not saying this from a peaceful garden. He is saying it while enemies surround it, while threats feel real. He's not saying, I have no problem. He's not saying, I am fine. He's saying, I have a reference point that changes everything. Light, salvation, stronghold. So 3 ways of saying God's presence reorients my fear. Now listen to what David asked for the next, verse 4. "One thing I ask of the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek Him in His temple." One thing, not a long list, not 10 demands, one holy focus. And it is not make my enemies disappear. It's not solve every problem. It is this, dwell. Let me stay close. Let me make my home with you. And gaze. Let me look long enough to remember who you are. And seek. Let me keep coming back again and again. And when David says the beauty of the Lord, he's not talking about the God as a decoration. He's talking about God's goodness, God's warmth, God's steady kindness. This is not about the performing for God. It's about the positioning yourself to receive. And then we get to the heart of the Psalms. Psalm 27:8, it says, my heart says of you, seek his face. Your face, Lord, I will seek. Do you hear that conversation? God says, seek my face. And David answers, your face, Lord, I will seek. Call and response. God initiate and we respond. Which means even our seeking is already a response to God's reaching. But then, almost in the same breath, David prayed this. Verse 9, do not hide your face from me. Do not hide your face from me. That's what grabbed me this week. The same person who says, the Lord is my light, and also says, please don't turn away. And confidence in verse 1, and desperation in verse 9. The psalm does not force us to choose one. It tells the truth about real faith. Real faith can say, God, I trust you. And also says, I am scared. Real faith can declare, you are my stronghold. And also whisper, please stay close. Some of us have been taught that faith means one posture, strong, certain, unshaken. But the Psalm 27 shows us mature faith. Mature faith can hold both. Bold declaration and honest pleading. So here we are in January darkness. Battery is low. The light we are supposed to carry feels heavy. Some of us are running on fumes. But the psalm does not tell us to try harder, dig deeper, and generate more energy. It tells us to seek a face. Well, I've been thinking about my grandma this week and harmony in Korean word. So as you see that the harmony and grandmother is in the middle, and I cannot remember this time, but all I know is in this year, 3 boys were born in the same year. So my mother was holding in the back, and with other. So when I was a boy and fell down and scraped my knee, and she had a strategy. She would rush over and scold the rock that tripped me, and take my side against the ground itself, and say confidently, 괜찮아, 이제 괜찮을 거야. It means it's okay, it won't hurt you anymore. And I remember thinking, Grandma, what do you mean? It won't hurt. I'm the one bleeding here. Harmony, Grandma, I appreciate the confidence, but my knee didn't get the memo. I know she was trying to help me, but that kind of a comfort moved faster than my pain could move. It skipped past what I was actually feeling. And instead of helping, it made me feel a little more alone, because apparently I was not supposed to hurt anymore, but I feel that. That's not what Psalm 27 teaches us. David does not pretend the enemies are not there. He doesn't rush past the fear. He brings both confidence and desperation before God's face. But Harmony, my grandma, had another way. Actually, that works better. I did the better way. When I ate too much, and I often did, I had what you might call the enthusiastic appetites. My stomach would hurt at night. Then she would come to my bed and she would place her warm hands on my belly and rubbing and then she would say it over and over. 할머니 손은 약손이다, 약손이다 means grandma's hands are healing hands and healing hands. She didn't have a medicine. She didn't have an explanation for why I'd eaten too much again. She didn't scold me, though she probably should have. And she did not say, "You are fine, you are not really in pain." She just stayed. Warm hands, quiet words, and presence. And here's the thing. You know what? It worked. Somehow the pain would ease and I'd fall asleep. Not because her hands had a magic power, but because presence does something that solution cannot do. It doesn't deny the pain. It doesn't rush past it. It holds you through it. That's what it means to see God's face. Not a technique for eliminating fear. Not a strategy for pretending everything is fine. But the discovery, the presence holds us when answers don't exist. When David cries, "Do not hide your face from me," he's not asking for explanation. He's not asking God to tell him it's okay, you are not really in pain. He's asking for what my grandma's warm hands gave me, someone who stays in that vulnerable moment. A face that doesn't turn away. Presence that holds without denying. Some of you are carrying both right now. Confidence and desperation in the same heart. Faith and exhaustion in the same body. You believe, but you are also scared. You trust and you are also afraid. You show up and you wonder if you have anything left to give. The Psalm says both are faithful. I was reminded of this recently and embarrassingly. Maria asked me to deliver an apple pie to a friend and simply ran. I went and they welcomed me in warmly and set out a beautiful spread of fruits and refreshment on the table. And somehow our conversation was about my dramatic change of weight and how I have been managing my health differently now, watching what I eat after years of neglecting my body. And then I left, got in my car, and started driving home, and suddenly it hit me. I realized that I hadn't touched a single thing they had prepared. Not one piece of fruit, not one bite. They had set the table for me, and I walked out without receiving any of that. The whole drive home, I couldn't stop thinking about it. For 35 years of ministry, I practiced one kind of faithfulness, honoring the host's generosity by eating whatever was offered, always pleasing them, even when my body could not handle it. I thought that was a love. I thought that was a ministry and humility. And now, the one time I finally tried to take care of myself, I swing so far the other direction that I dishonor their kindness completely. I regret it the entire way home. What a pathetic pastor I am. But somehow on that drive, I realized something. Both impulse, the old way and new way, both were trying to be faithful. The problem was not just choosing one over the other. The problem was that I had not yet learned to hold both with a maturity, to receive graciously while also caring myself. I don't know about you, but I was not good at holding both. To honor the host and honor the body God gave me. Sometimes we swing from one extreme to another. All confidence or all desperation. All giving or all receiving. All self-sacrifice or all self-care. All I'm fine or all I'm falling apart. But Psalm 27 invites us to grow up, to hold both in the same heart, the same prayer, same life. Like my grandma's hand, not denying the pain, but staying present through it. So let me ask you, what's your one thing right now? Not 10 things, not the whole list. One thing you need to bring before God's face. Maybe it's exhaustion. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's a relationship that needs a healing. Maybe it's a health. Maybe it's the state of the world, the conflict, the division, the uncertainty that seems to grow. Turn to someone near you, just one person, and share in one sentence. What is your one thing right now? So you can share that. About 1 minute.
Oh boy, that's a good one, huh?
Yeah, it is a good one.
I'd say I need to work on some family relationships, but not sure what to do.
Yeah.
I watch too much TV news.
I know 1 minute is not enough, but I just want to share a time that we have a really actually think about that and reflect on that. So continue to think about that one thing that you'd like to bring to God. And here's the beautiful truth. So when we see God's face, we become face for others. That's what happened when you serve at Association of Faith community. You become a face, a consistent, warm, and present face for someone who needs to see that they are not alone. They are not forgotten. So when you volunteer at Western Service Worker Association or Noodle Cafe, you are being the face that doesn't hide. This Thursday, Kevin and Norton lead another safe road bike riding. It's not just about the cycling, it's about the presence and showing up and being seen, creating a community on the street of Santa Cruz, a face for the neighborhood. My grandma's hands didn't cure anything, but they stayed. But that staying, that presence was enough to carry a frightened boy through the night. We don't carry light by generating it. We carry it by seeking the face and then becoming face for others. Last week we heard God says, "I will give you as a light to the nations." This week the Psalm tells us how, by seeking the face of the one who is the light, not generating it, receiving, not achieving, dwelling, not performing and gazing. Christmas lights are down. The days are still short, but the light has not disappeared. It has become more intimate. My light, my salvation, my stronghold. So go this week as a light carriers. Tired perhaps, but trusting. Battery's low maybe, but connected to the source, seeking the face and becoming faces for others. So more prayer and more power. Seek His face, carrying the light. Go in peace.